remember one thing, that always going to a school or university for that is not important. Something that you need in you is enthusiasm for it. There are so
Correct.
many resources nowadays available online that you can start learning any day, and you can, start right away.
Hello everyone, I'm Jitendra Singh. I welcome you to Read My Story, where I interview authors, speakers, coaches, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and more. Today I have with me Miss Ankita Narula. She is the workforce behind Floral Palette, a mom to a lovely baby girl, a wife, and an entrepreneur. After completing her MBA, she did a few trials with her career, but when nothing seems to work for her for few years, and then lockdown happened, her passion for designing did not let her rest. She started practicing hand embroidery on rough fabrics and kept learning new techniques on the web. Finally, after the lockdown, she decided to take the plunge to start her own hand embroidery business, and Floral Palette was born. Since then, she hasn't looked back and was fortunate enough to receive love and affection from participating attendants and her workshops and clients. She spends her days working on executing new designs, making processes, tutorial videos, taking product photos, and running to courier office to ship all the orders. Her embroidery is clearly inspired by nature. The designs she comes up with are both detailed and delicate, with a style that is classic. She loves all things colorful, and she chooses her color palette to fit any kind of mood, and she is in the happy place. She loves sharing her designs and patterns with people. Her goal is to provide clear instructions, beauty photos, helpful tutorials, and unique supply kits that comes together to help create unique, amazing work of art, either for her client themselves or for gifting. Today, she will be discussing with us about her life journey. So let us hear from her. Welcome, Ankita. The platform is open, and now over to you.
Hello sir, thank you. Hi, sir. This is Ankita. Thank you for introducing me in such a beautiful manner. So, I am the workforce behind Floral Palette, as you said. So, I am the solo person working for everything from designing to making embroideries to making tutorials, reels that are trending on Instagram, and everything on my page is done by me. So, all the products, all the video tutorials, and workshops, everything.
Awesome. So that is really awesome, and I have seen your work also on the Instagram. That was wonderful. So now coming back to you again, if I talk about you, your life, how it has affected the person who you wanted to be and what you are.
Okay, so sir, back in 2013, when I completed my studies doing MBA, I wanted to further study and do PhD. But then,
Okay.
as we all know, life happens, and when life happens, it has its own plan. So I could never pursue PhD, and but then I had this passion for designing since my childhood. I've always made creative things since my childhood. I've always joined workshops in schools, in colleges regarding art. And art has no limitations. It's not only about embroidery that I'm doing as of now. Art has variations. So I used to do paintings, I used to do little crafty things. So I've always had that passion in me. So when I could not do PhD, I started making handmade gifts. I was never a person for job. I never wanted to work under somebody. I was never meant for corporate jobs, though I gave interview after MBA. But then I realized that this is something not for me.
Right.
Yeah, so I started making handmade gifts for my family, for my friends, and it's my little sister, my younger sister, who inspired me to convert it into a little business, because that was the time back in 2013 and 14 when Instagram was picking up for this thing where people were starting their pages, because that was the time Instagram was something jahan log sirf that was a personal page kind of thing where you only posted photos. If I
Right.
talk about Instagram back in 2013, that was the time when people were posting pictures about their businesses as well. And us time pe Facebook was more trending. So I used
Correct.
both the platforms, Facebook and Instagram, to post designs for my handmade gifts. Slowly and gradually, I started doing exhibitions for these things, made paper gifts, frames, and all those stuff. People love them immensely. I've got a very good response. But then I have something in my mind that I always wish to learn something new and new every day. I don't know if that's something negative in me or positive in me, but that there is something in me. So I switched to jewelry designing, designed little things from paper because I realized that there is something in audience they don't want to spend on paper product. Because what I found is that they loved my designs, but then again they did not want to spend much saying कि ये एक paper product है और हम इसको कितना use करेंगे. So that was not a proper business for me. Yeah,
Really
so
wonderful.
I switched to jewelry designing. I started jewelry designing because that is also something that excited me. So did that for a very small period. I think that also did not work out for me, and I finally went to clothes designing because that was something there in me since childhood that I wanted to start my own boutique. I remember when I was in 8th standard, I used to tell my mom that I want to do fashion designing after 12th standard and I want to start my own boutique. But then
Right.
in Indian mindset, parents always tell you to study first and then follow, your hobby. And then they say study first, get a job, and then maybe you can do your hobby
Correct.
because that's considered as a hobby rather than as a business, full-time business.
Correct.
Yeah. So I switched to clothes designing, did experimenting, got into positive things, failed a lot of times, but then I learned a lot of things. I've never worked under anybody, not even internship, but my own business was something that taught me a lot. So all my experience from 2013 till now, 2022, almost 9 years, that's all my experience. So even if I've
Right.
failed at quite a things or maybe got success at things in my exhibitions or whatever I talk about, that's all counts. Number one is as my experience, and
Look.
number two, whatever I've learned from my past things, I apply them now in my current business, that is my brand Floral Palette, and it makes me happy. So this is how my journey till clothes designing was there. Then in 2020, as we all know, COVID hit all of us very badly, and all of us had to sit at home during lockdown. No one could go out or do job or business anything. So that was the time that I did not want to sit idle. So I kept watching YouTube videos and Pinterest that inspires a lot of us. Those designs are so fascinating that I always wondered if I can, ever make them myself. So I picked up some rough fabrics, whatever threads were available at home, started practicing
Right.
little hand embroidery stitches that my mother taught me long back in childhood. I still remembered those and started practicing them. Then I went to web. YouTube is is there for all of us nowadays.
Right.
Google is there for everybody. You from Google you can learn everything. You have answer to all the questions. So I tried to find different resources on Google, on YouTube. I read about embroidery. I watched few videos and started practicing basic stitches. So from practicing at that time to later in 2020 when I was expecting my baby, I again kept practicing. I could not go out much that time and do work, do a full-time business. So I
Right.
continued practicing, and in 2021 when my baby girl was born, so after my maternity leave, after my rest period was over, I planned to make design 2-3 hand embroidered frocks for her because that always fascinated me, that I want to create something for my baby girl with my own hands because I have always been a creative person.
Correct.
So I designed and got stitched 2-3 frocks for her, and when she wore them, that was the time I got a click that yes, hand embroidery is for me. So I want to pursue this further, take this further into a business, convert this passion into a business. And by that time I had practiced a lot of stitches, so I could clearly make flowers and leaves and small designs. So I was an art is something that comes with practice, so your skills refine if you keep practicing. Yeah. So in 2021, by the I think if we talk about the exact time, that was September October when I planned to start my Instagram page by the name of Floral Palette. And yes, Floral Palette because all my designs are inspired by flowers, and palette because there is no end to colors, and
Correct.
threads are my colors. So it's I called it Floral Palette just like that, and it clicked so much that I started being consistent on Instagram and posting things. This is
Wonderful.
how Floral Palette was was born, after
It's
my baby was
really
born.
wonderful. So that is wonderful. So if I talk about things you are passionate about in your life, this is the thing you have already mentioned. Apart from this, are there more things, or this is the only thing?
Yeah, so there are more things. So see, art is something that is therapeutic. So if we talk about hand embroidery that I do, I used to do painting as well, but when I do hand embroidery, it is something that relieves my stress. So it's not only something that I'm making for my business. So even when I used to practice it, or even when I make designs now in my own space, I have
Right.
that little background music on and I'm working on my designs, so that is something therapeutic. So even if I'm too much stressed and I'm working on my designs, it relieves me, it relieves
Correct.
my stress, and it gives me a sense of excitement that yes, I'm working on something of my own. There are so many colors, so many designs. So an art is something that grows every day. Every day you come up with new things in your mind. See a lot of things on social media. It's the world
Right.
of it's the time of internet, of social media. So you see a lot of things around you on social media. So when you see things, you wish to grow. When you see people working more than you, or maybe better than you also wish to grow. You
Right.
get tired.
Correct.
So my passion is not limited to me earning from hand embroidery. It's also spreading the art for people who are as enthusiastic as me. So when I was learning hand embroidery from YouTube and different sources on Google, so I did not have one platform that I could rely on
Correct.
for learning. So that was the time when I had to look for different pages कि कौन सा convenient है design, because not everybody teaches in the most convenient way. Everybody has their own style of teaching, and
Correct.
people learn. So when people are posting things on YouTube or maybe other platform, not everybody is posting with the point of teaching. Maybe some are doing it for their own YouTube page just for the sake of posting. So I
Right.
had to figure out कि कहाँ से सीखना है. So when now I am I will not call myself perfect here in hand embroidery, but then yes, I have refined my skills since 2020. So now I wish to spread my teachings for people who are as enthusiastic and passionate as me for learning embroidery. When I talk to my little sister, she's passionate, although she is an assistant professor, but even she
Okay.
wishes
Great.
to learn these little things. So when you see people around you and they don't have resources, so when I tell her go to YouTube and learn, even I have done that, she says I can't, because not everybody is much well versed with learning from YouTube or different sources.
Correct.
So
Correct.
my passion is to teach as well, spread my learnings, my art. So I've also started with hand embroidery workshops. I've conducted a few online workshops, planning offline workshops as of now, and long term goal, if you talk about it, is to develop my own online course for start, where I can put all my learnings of hand embroidery, all my resources, from where you can source the material, from where you can take inspiration for designs, you can learn stitches, how to make a design, how to make a pattern, and how to actually
Wonderful.
sell that. If you're doing it for yourself, that's only a hobby. So if you want to
Wonderful.
convert it into a business, so I want to teach all these things, all my learnings into that one course. So I'm planning to start that online and maybe offline a little later when things work in my favor. So that's one more
Great.
passion.
That's really great. So, if I talk about your work and your business, like what are the activities you spread your time around, and how you manage your business?
Okay, so sir, on if I talk about my daily routine, I take a lot of time for. I try and take a lot of time for my business, but my baby is too small. So I obviously, before an entrepreneur, I'm a mother. I want to give full time to her. I don't want her, and I am a kind of person where I don't want like other females, that you go out for a job for a full day. I'm not telling that they are wrong, but there are females who go out, work for full day, and then come back to baby. But I am
Correct.
somebody who wants to see my baby grow and watch all her little activities all the time. So I don't want to miss anything, because
Right.
she is one little sunshine of my life. She's given so much to me, so much inspiration to me since she's born, that I don't want to leave her, miss her activities, because this is the time when she's growing. I can watch everything. There are always firsts for babies.
Correct.
First time she talked, first time she took a step and everything. So I tried taking out time since she was born, and after my leave was over, I tried taking out 2 hours, 3 hours a day, and by now I try to take out 4 to 5 hours a day in daytime, apart from the household stuff and my baby, and sometimes I work at night
Right.
after she has slept. So being a mom and being a wife, managing home along with these things, I think we have to take time for
Right.
ourselves. So yeah, so
Correct.
whenever I have time, if I can work well in daytime, I do that. If I could not work well in daytime, I sometimes sit at night after she slept and work on my designs. So managing it that way.
Correct. Would be a little difficult at this point in time because she is too young.
Yeah, so as
Right.
and how she will grow, I will get time for myself as well, more and more. But then this is also a beautiful phase of life because she's growing, and she's
True.
my such a great inspiration for me. She inspires me to do more. So that's a
Correct.
challenge कि उसको भी देखना है, काम को भी देखना है. Do it how you can do it.
Yeah, right. So if I talk about your vision, mission, and goal in life for next 5 to 10 years,
Yeah.
one is like you already mentioned that you want to start your training
Yeah.
thing also. So apart from that, what are your like aspirations for next 5 to 10 years?
Sir, apart from building my own course, and there is not one course that I'm planning for hand embroidery. Something is one course is something which is like basic stitches for people who are
Okay.
very beginners, very beginners. So for them, it's just one course where they can learn the basics and
Correct.
make small designs from that. There are other things that I'm planning for courses. Silk embroidery ribbon, that is silk ribbon. If you talk about ribbon that you've seen, you can do embroidery from that as well, and that comes out really different. So that I want to build a course for that. I've not posted any design regarding that on my Instagram, so I am still in the process of making workshops for that. First I'll take workshops and then planning a course for that as well. And one thing is punch needle, so that is something related to hand embroidery. Punch needle is it also works with needle and thread. It's a different form of embroidery. So yeah, I'm planning a course for that as well. So not limiting myself to one course. I see myself in 5 years. If you talk about my vision and mission, I want to make an entire course, structure, a plan where you have different courses for hand embroidery, a platform where you find everything regarding hand embroidery. So maybe apart from these, and right now I'm working with threads, just threads. But India has a vast number of hand embroidery, stitches. Every state has its embroidery. If we talk about Lucknow, it has chikankari. If we talk about Kashmir, it has kashida. If we talk about Punjab, it has fulkari. So every
Right.
embroidery has different stitches and a different material going into it.
Correct.
So I plan to make all of that accessible as learning for everybody, for very beginners as well. So
Wonderful.
one day I was a beginner and now I have a lot of knowledge about it. So I want to create that one big platform for people who are enthusiastic about it, because I have seen what I found in fashion schools, that they teach everything about making garment,
Right.
and there are courses about textile design where they teach embroidery, but then they are focusing more on prints. I have researched on that, though I have not done a course personally, but then my research and my knowledge says that fashion schools are teaching more about running boutiques, running fashion studios and all, but nobody is talking in detail about hand embroidery, and that's such a great part of our
Right.
culture of India and something that fascinates me personally. So my
Correct.
vision, if you talk about it, is maybe to build something entirely around embroidery, because that's one part of the garment. When you are building a garment and you're doing something, customized embroidery, but you also find embroidered garments, embroidered fabrics in market. But when you go to market, that's all repeated designs, that all machine embroidery. Even if it's hand embroidery, you kind of find same things in all the markets.
Correct.
Yeah, so I wish to build something around embroidery of my own. Maybe one day, online embroidery academy, maybe offline. I don't know as of now, but I plan to see myself there.
The thing is, like when you have a dream of doing anything and you like work on that dream with your passion, hard work,
Yeah.
then the thing would definitely come into existence.
Yeah, because I'll say something. I've worked designing apparels as well. I've made those apparel designs, customized them for people. But then I could never find that, एक जो when you talk about the word sukoon, मतलब when I I designed dresses for people, even for my family,
Correct.
I never found that sense of satisfaction even after doing that. But now when I do hand embroidery myself, or maybe I take workshops, that sense of satisfaction comes to me apart from running a business.
That's really wonderful. That happens when you are passionate about something.
Yeah.
That only thing helps you like come out of any anger,
Yeah.
any kind of fear. That
Yeah,
really
like
works.
they say, there is right time for everything. So this did not come to me a long time back, maybe because this was meant to be happen now.
True, true. So if I talk about the most important life lessons you have learned from your personal and professional journey so far, so what
Yeah.
are those things?
Okay, so I'll talk about both separately. Talking about my professional life first, because I've never done a job or an internship under anybody, not even for designing. So I've learned everything myself. Yes, I've invested a lot of money because I was blessed to have that from my father. My father invested in my business back in 2016 when I started with exhibitions and run my apparel business. That time my father invested a lot in my business, and I have failed a lot of times. So yes, a lot of money went into that, but a lot of experience came out of it. So all my learnings from my business, that one thing that I learned, that you need to be dedicated and you need to stick to one thing. That was maybe my mistake or something. Even my family tells me, and even when they listen to this interview, maybe they're going to laugh it off, that they've always told me to stick to one thing. My husband also tells me that be
But the thing
passionate
is,
about one
I'm
thing.
interviewing
Yeah.
here. But the thing is, when you stick to one thing, how would you explore it? How would
So
you
sticking
explore
to
what is the thing you have within you? Like you started with experimenting with clothing. You also
exactly.
experimented with jewelry. You experimented with other things as well. Like if you have stuck to any of those things, you would not have come here to this point.
Exactly. So what I say about this is that what is meant to happen happens. So this was meant for me. But then sticking to one thing from their point of view means that when you have started something, have the patience to at least be in a place where you can find yourself successful. So my mind is, it wanders a lot. One day I want to do something, second day I want to do something else, and if you're not getting success, and success doesn't come easy, that success doesn't come easy at all. So I used to, kind of give up. I used to say that I want to quit, I want to shut this down. So that is something. Being sticking to one thing means that when you're doing something, give it some time to at least see that if you are succeeding or if you want to switch.
Right.
Yeah, so give it some time. So maybe if I had given some more time to apparel business, I could have flourished it. But then lockdown happened and things were different at that time. And now I'm doing it sideline. I still get clothes stitched, designed for people who are coming to me on demand basis, but not doing it on regular basis. Yeah, so I have contacts because of that. I have contacts with carigers, I have contacts with embroidery people. So that's helping me now in my current business. So that's my learnings. And talking about my personal life learnings is something that always keep your personal and professional life separate. Because if you mix the two, you're going to mess up in your life. So I'll tell you something. I was newly married in 2018 and my husband had an off on Sunday. So, and I had an off on Monday according to the marketplace, because I was working in a marketplace. So I used to think that I'll take an off on Sunday. And my husband is a person of nature who thinks that if you're dedicated to work, do work. He has always supported me in my business. Apart from my parents, I could find a person who supported me in my work a lot, and still doing that. So if I used to sit at home on Sunday for him, so instead of feeling ki you sit at home for me, he used to get a little angry. Why are you at home? You should be at your work. You should be dedicated. That yes, if you're passionate about doing something, you should do that first. Of course, family comes first, but then if you are passionate about your business, you need to do that. You need to be consistent at that as well. I'm not saying leave your family and do that. Learn to balance, and I have learned to balance it now. It's been 4 years to my marriage. Now is the time I've slowly learned to balance things. So give time that is required for your personal life, and give time that is required for your personal professional life, but keep them separate. Don't mix them. That is my only learning from personal and professional, from personal life. Professional learnings I've told you.
Right, that is really wonderful. So, since you are in business, which you have turned your hobby into a business,
Yeah.
now also the same thing. Like if somebody is having similar kind of hobby or different hobby altogether, so how they can convert that hobby or interest or passion maybe to a business?
Okay, so I'll say one thing here, sir, that to convert your hobby into a business, you don't always need a degree or maybe a proper schooling for that. Talking about me personally, I've never went to a fashion school. I have never learned this thing by going to any university or a college. So I've done MBA. That never relates to my business now. So when I tell people, even if somebody asks me that from where have you learned this designing thing or something, I always tell them that I've done MBA, and some people laugh it off. That
Right.
so much you're diversified so much that you did MBA, that is business administration. You are not nowhere into corporate. You are nowhere into any job related, and you're doing designing. But then people appreciate as well. So yes, when you have want to convert your hobby into business, remember one thing, that always going to a school or university for that is not important. Something that you need in you is enthusiasm for it. There are so many resources nowadays available online that you can start learning any day, and you can start right away.
Correct.
So there are
Correct.
sources there are so many YouTube channels. Apart from there are so many course platforms. You talk about Coursera, you talk about Udemy, you talk about Domestika. There are so many platforms where you find hobby related courses, and they actually teach you to convert your hobby into a business, how to market them, how to make profits out of them. They don't only teach you that art. There are courses about that art. If I talk
Right.
about fashion designing in broader terms, there are hundreds of courses online. But there are not only courses about teaching about designing. There are courses that are teaching how to actually convert it into a business and start your boutique, how to market your designs, how to margin your designs, make a profit out of it. There are so many resources nowadays online, so you don't need to actually physically go out and attend a college for the same. So if you have that enthusiasm in you, do a little research, maybe attend some online small courses, and these are affordable courses nowadays.
Right.
And they are not all
Right.
live courses. You can do them at your own pace. So do your
Correct.
research and start practicing. And there is never a day when you can say ki I'll start at that day. That day never
Right.
comes. Start today. If
Agreed.
you are enthusiastic about it, start today. Start practicing little, because of course it all comes with practice.
Correct. And you rightly pointed out when we are in some kind of profession, maybe job or something, people tend to say this: one day I would do this, one day I would do that,
Exactly.
one day I will follow my passion. So that day never comes.
Even I used to do the same. So that's I call it my learning from my. I've never done a job, but then I've done businesses. I've tried things I've tried my hands at a lot of things. So I used
Correct.
to wonder that one day I will also do this. My bigger goals are these. So then eventually I learned that yes, you should have bigger goals, but then you should have short-term goals as well. So if you start today, not thinking कि हाँ ये सही दिन है, so I'll start at this day. ये अच्छा दिन है, I'll start at this day. No, start right now, start right away, and do your research. Google is at your hands. Start doing your own research. You'll get everything.
True. That is the best thing. Like we are living in the best time, so we
Yeah.
have every bit of information which is needed to start our business. Maybe
Exactly.
small one, maybe big one. So
Exactly.
how much money is required? What resources are required? How much time you should spend? Like what is the right market for this type of product,
Exactly.
or maybe this type of thing? Everything is there.
Yes.
So that is wonderful thing. So now, if I ask about your inputs, preparation, time, investment for these type of business, like how to plan and execute these things.
So as I said that you need to do your own research. So it all
Right.
depends on the kind of business you want to start and the kind of level you want to start it. So for me, as I said, I've started it from my home. So it's a home kind of business. I am working from my home, taking time out of my baby's routine. I work from my home. Maybe I send her to her grandmother's place, and then I work from my home. And maybe go out to somewhere, some art co-working space. I've also been there. There are co-working spaces for artists as well. I go out, as in how you find time. So see how things can work for you. So you need to see how things can work for you.
Correct.
So regarding your you need to do your own research. Let's say if you want to start from a home business, a small scale business, that is just posting designs on Instagram, or maybe just putting up reels and selling through Instagram. You need little investment, but then you need a lot of research. You should have complete knowledge about what you are doing in the right direction, and then at what level you wish to start it depends on you.
Correct.
So if you wish to start small, start it with Instagram. That's the best platform I think these days. If you wish to expand a little, maybe you can switch to an e-commerce website. Maybe go to a marketplace. Maybe go to exhibition exhibitions, or even if you are willing to do it online on a larger scale, maybe you can set up a factory by taking help of people around you. There are so
Right.
many people who don't have jobs, so go find them, and you find everything on Google. So I'm not
Correct.
saying you find a karigar on Google, but then yes, you find resources. Yeah, so you find a lot of resources, and when you go out, talk to people through your resources, then you do your research. So connections come one from one another. So you talk
Right.
to somebody that is going to refer to somebody else, and that is how you make your network. So it completely
Correct.
depends on what level of business you are planning for yourself. So you need to research for that on your own, on your convenience, and how much you can actually invest in your business in terms of money and in terms of time as well.
That is
But
also really
yes, one thing I will say is dedication and consistency. That is actually something necessary even for a very small scale business to a very large scale business.
true.
Yeah.
That is up to like your budget, your thought
Exactly.
process, what you make out of your hobby.
Exactly. So if I
There
talk
are
about embroidery business, if you want to keep it as small as it is for me right now, you can start it from home. You can start it within 10,000 rupees. The material is very affordable. But
correct.
if you wish to make a lot of products and sell it on your own e-commerce website, if you wish to make new accessories out of it, your own designs, maybe you can call skilled female workers and kind of set up a factory for yourself, invest a lot of money and start it on a little larger scale. Even that is going to work for you. What works for you best is only you can find it out. How much
True.
money you
That's
can
correct.
invest, how much time you can invest, and how much actually you are willing to give to your business.
Right. So that is really a wonderful information you've shared. Now, moving back to you again, if I
Yeah.
talk about you, what kind of person you are you an introvert or an extrovert while meeting and facing people, audiences?
So to be honest, I am an introvert person, and I was since my childhood. Very, I'll call myself too much introvert. I did not want to face people at all. There was time when I did not want to face people at all. I called myself antisocial. There was a time I called myself antisocial, and I used to laugh with my sister that I can't afford talking to people. I don't want people around me. But when I started doing my business in 2014, doing it from home, exploring a bit, going out, putting up exhibitions in 2016, running a shop of my own. So that is the time that was also a time I was a little shy talking to people. I could not convince clients. So I thought this is not right for me. I
Okay.
can't do business क्योंकि मुझे convince करना नहीं आता है. I don't have that salesmanship in me. But then over a period of time, I realized that I am not a salesperson. I am a designer. So I need to,
Right.
work myself in that manner. Maybe if offline is not working for me, if I'm not able to convince my customers face to face, maybe I can do it in some other manner. I am
Correct.
actually a designer and not a salesperson.
Correct.
So if I
You
cannot
mentioned
hire a salesperson at that moment because of lack of funds or something, that should not hinder my business grow. My
correct.
business grew. So
And
yes, I am an introvert, and after my baby was born, I talk a lot to her, and my family says that we have never seen you talking so much. So yes, I am actually an introvert at heart, but then now I love talking to people about my business, about my work, about my baby. But then that's limited to it. So actually, I am an
right.
introvert, but then I talk at my convenience, maybe.
That's really wonderful because when you are in public and you have to showcase your business, you have to represent not only you, your company as well. And
Exactly.
until unless you speak, people would not know.
Exactly. So yes, you
Right.
need to be a little outward on that part, and that all comes with confidence. So as in how you meet
Correct.
people, as in how you grow in your business, that confidence comes in itself. So that's something that can never be taught in any school. I never. And there
Right.
was a time I never had confidence to even go out and talk to somebody. There were times I had no friends. Even now, my husband laughs and he says she has no friends because I have no friend circle.
Right.
My family is they're all my friends.
That's wonderful. So, if I talk about the kind of support you got in your journey the most, who were the people supported you the most?
Yeah, so when I started my business, I was not married that time. So that was 2013-14. The first person that inspired me to start it as a hobby, converting into a business, she's my younger sister. She's 7 years younger to me, but I always call her my elder sister because she's always inspiring me in all manners. She's always motivating me. She's learned clinical psychology. She's recently finished her PhD and now she's an assistant professor. So I always call her my free therapist for life. She always
Right.
inspires me, motivates me, does my counseling for everything, all aspects of my life, everything,
Wonderful.
not business, not personal life, everything. talk about everything, and she's one go-to person for me. So she's the one who pushed me in 2014 when I was wondering that jobs won't work for me. What should I actually do? Completed my MBA. I can't find a path. So that was the time that she pushed me for this thing. And yes, there has been an immense support from my parents as well. So apart from my sister, my parents, obviously my father invested a lot in my business financially and emotionally. My parents have been very supportive. Till date, they are very supportive. And when I got married in 2018, I found a person, my husband, who's equally supportive. So when you say that a woman entrepreneur, she's got a lot of success. So behind her, I think she has a one entire family who's supporting her. Because for a women entrepreneur to succeed in her life, family support is something very important.
Correct.
So
And
I've
that
got
is not only for women, but for men too. They
I
also
completely
require
agree.
equal kind of
Yes,
support.
I completely agree. But for females, I think because you have to be at your home as well, you have to look after your husband, your baby, for your household
Right.
chores. You need that kind of support, and I've got it since before marriage till date. All every support, mental support, emotional, financial. So if I say it out of my, if I say that I need this amount of money, my father and my husband both are standing for me to give that. But now
Right.
obviously I want to do it myself. So it's not only financial support, it's emotional support. It's always pushing me to move ahead, be consistent, be enthusiastic. There are times I wanted to quit, and my husband used to tell me you're not dedicated. So yeah.
Right.
So even in his words, there were motivation that yes, you have the capability, go out and do something. Yeah,
Yeah.
the family support is something which I'm blessed with, and that is something very, I think, important for a women entrepreneur to succeed.
Correct. You also highlighted the importance of motivation. So
Yeah.
on to it, how you get your motivation and inspiration from?
For my designs, my inspiration and motivation comes from my mother. So I've always seen her, she's one person who never stops. Even if she's in pain, she's dedicated to her family. Matlab, she knows
Right.
if she has to do it, she has to do it. And till date, when I'm in some problem and I go tell her that I'm unable to do this or whatever, she's one person who tells me, you have to move on in life, no matter what. So she's the one who motivates me, and my designing skills come from her. I told you my nani, my grandmother, and my mother used to do embroidery, and I used to be so fascinated looking at them. I had no interest in doing it personally, and I did not know back then in childhood that I'll be doing this someday as a business. But then
Right.
yes, comes from her, from both of them. My grandmother is no more, but then I always remember her doing those knittings and hand embroidery and stuff, and those always fascinated me.
Right.
My mother
That's
also.
really
But talking about motivation, it all comes from yes, it comes from my complete family. But then my mother is somebody who motivates me at every step, be it
right.
personal life, be it professional life, be it anything. Handling my baby, handling my marriage, anything. I have any problem, and I'll go tell her. I'll talk to her, and she'll motivate me in such a beautiful manner. She's one person who never stops. She's in
Correct.
pain, she's not well, be it anything. She is always on her feet. So that motivates me a lot. And there was a time I remember I used to tell her that I can never do things like you. It was before my marriage, and my parents were finding the right match for me. And he used to tell my mother that I can never be like you. You are managing everything so beautifully, managing home, managing husband, kids, everything, not doing anything for yourself personally. I don't want to be like you, and I can't be like you. But today,
Right.
when I remember those words, she told me that when you are on that path, you tend to do it yourself. It comes to you naturally. And now I think that yes, she is right. When you are actually on that path and you are passionate about it, it all comes to you.
That's true. So if I talk about your take on success, what do you think success is to you?
So for me, success is number one, reaching the right kind of audience. Number one, that's a very small thing, because we all know that we need to reach right audience for our kind of business. And
Right.
apart from that, one thing which I feel is very important is financial independence.
Right.
Yeah, because now is the time when females are succeeding a lot. They are doing so much in life that I feel that I'm nowhere. I've just started taking baby steps in front of them. Females have reached far in their businesses. they've got so much success, but just looking at their Instagram, we cannot measure their success is different for everybody.
Correct.
For me, it means financial independence.
Right. That is really wonderful. Like everybody have some thoughts, but the most important thing is if you are financially independent,
Exactly.
then you are able to do things well, whatever you are doing. So that's
Exactly.
wonderful. So now moving on to the last question. Any message, advice you would like to share with our viewers and listeners?
So just one piece of advice that I've learned from my professional life, from my mistakes, from different things that I've done, that please be consistent in whatever you do, be dedicated. And till date, when I wish to quit, or even when I'm a little slower, my sister tells me that you promise yourself to be consistent, that be consistent, and that is going to get you growth, that is going to
Correct.
get you success. So that is one piece of advice I would like to give everybody out there as well, passionate about starting a business or doing business, wherever they are on their journey right now. Be consistent. That's one thing. Don't quit or think about quitting. Think about the day you started.
Correct.
You started someday thinking about something, that I want to do this thing. So now when I wish to quit, I always think that yes, I started for a reason, and I
Yes.
keep going, because there are times when you don't wish to work, maybe because of you are tired, or maybe you don't have time apart from your baby, or you think that you can't do it, maybe because of anything. But then consistency is something that is going to get you growth and success.
Correct. That's really wonderful thing. And sometimes when you feel like stressed out, or maybe like you are stressed, or maybe you are like tired off, you can take a small break. That's absolutely
Exactly.
fine. Get yourself charged up, energized,
Yes,
and
yes.
get back to work
Breaks are
again.
also important. Sir, it's
Yes.
you can't keep working all the time. Breaks are
Correct.
important. You need time off work, to recharge yourself.
Right.
So when it's very necessary, take a break. But then when you come back, be dedicated.
Be charged up.
Yeah.
Right, wonderful. So that was really amazing, and you have shared so many amazing insights about your business, how you started, and what all you think about your business. That was really wonderful, Ankita. And I really enjoyed our conversation
Yeah, me
about
too.
your business, about your life journey, and I'm looking forward to hear more from you soon again. Probably we can pick up some other topic,
Sure,
and
sir.
we can talk about that. Thank you so much for your time, Ankita. It was wonderful having you here.
Thank you for this opportunity, to share this my insights on your platform. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much.
It's about inspiration. Maybe you can inspire many people to get started
I
and
just
do
hope. I
something
just
really
hope I can be an inspiration to people.
right. So I'll also do one thing, like I'll share your social media links along
Yeah.
with the interview, so that people can be in touch with you, take your products, see them, and maybe attend your online or offline classes whenever you start. So
Sure.
that can be one thing people can do from there. So
Sure.
guys, don't forget to check that out too. Thank you so very much everyone for watching and listening. I hope you all must have gathered a lot of information and enjoyed watching it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Have a good time. Thank you and bye bye.